10 weakest new UFC champ records. The UFC is full of great, legendary champions. Names like Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, and Georges St-Pierre quickly come to mind. Their talent is unquestioned. Their skill has been obvious. Some have had jaw-dropping wins, and others like Silva have snatched a victory just when it seemed like they would lose. Any fighter who makes it to the top of the UFC and wins the title inside the octagon deserves an immense amount of respect. However, it's fair to say that some title reigns are more successful than others. Over the years, we've seen a number of fighters become UFC champions, only for their title reign to turn out to be a huge disaster. Want to know about it in detail? Well, stay tuned until the end. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will talk about the 10 weakest new UFC champ records. Meanwhile, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. That being done, let's start. Number 1. Andrei Arlovski. Andrei the Pitbull Arlovski is a 43-year-old male fighter from Belarus with a 34-21-0 pro MMA record. Arlovski most recently fought Marcos Rogerio de Lima at UFC Fight Night on Saturday, October 29, 2022. Andrei Arlovski lost to Marcos Rogerio de Lima by submission at 1 minute 50 of round 1 in the heavyweight division. Andrei Arlovski has 34 wins with a 59% finish rate, including 17 by knockout, 3 by submission, 14 by decision. The UFC's October schedule comes to a close Saturday with UFC Fight Night 213, which takes place at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas with a card that streams entirely on ESPN+. A critical matchup in the featherweight division serves as the main event, with Calvin Kattar, 23-6 MMA record, 7-4 UFC, looking to get back on the winning track against the streaking Arnold Allen, 18-1 MMA, 9-0 UFC, who has yet to be beaten inside the octagon. For more on the numbers behind the main event, as well as the rest of the card, check below for MMA Junkies pre-event facts about UFC Fight Night 213. Number 2. Alex Perez. Perez made his promotional debut on December 9, 2017 at UFC Fight Night. Swanson vs Ortega against Carlos John de Tomas. He won the fight via submission in round 2. Perez faced Alejandro Pantoja on July 30, 2022. At UFC 277, he lost the fight via a neck crank submission early in the first round. Perez was scheduled to face Amir Albazi on December 17, 2022 at UFC Night 216. However, he pulled out due to undisclosed reasons in late October and was replaced by Brandon Royval. Perez is scheduled to face Kai Kara France on February 12, 2023 at UFC 284. Number 3. Germaine Duran. At UFC 208, back in 2017, highly reputable Dutch kickboxing phenom Germaine de Randamie faced former UFC Women's Bantamweight champion Holly Holm for the inaugural UFC Women's Featherweight title. De Randamie ended up winning a controversial decision over the course of 5 rounds, with the fight featuring multiple fouls from the Dutch KO artist. De Randamie punched Holm after the buzzer had signaled at the end of the round, on not one but 2 separate occasions. Most MMA experts, including veteran UFC commentator Joe Rogan, believed that Holm should have been awarded the win, especially since she outclassed her foe with excellent kicks and punches. Regardless, the fight still ended up being close, and De Randamie became the first UFC Women's Featherweight champion. Moreover, after the fight, she downright refused to defend her title against number 1 contender Chris Cyborg, and asserted that she won't fight Cyborg due to the latter's previous failed steroid tests. Certain sections of the MMA world levied a considerable amount of criticism on De Randamie for her aforesaid stance. She then went on to return to the UFC Bantamweight division, with the title being vacated and Cyborg winning the vacant belt against Holly Holm. Number 4. Nico Montano. Nico Montano is an American mixed martial artist who last competed in the Bantamweight division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. She was the inaugural UFC Women's Flyweight champion. Of Navajo, Chickasaw, and Hispanic descent, Montano was born December 16, 1988, in Lucachucay, Arizona. She graduated from Chinle High School in 2006. Then she attended Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona, before transferring to Dene College in Zile, Arizona, and finally ending up at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. It was there, in Durango, she signed up at Durango Martial Arts Academy and ignited her passion for martial arts. Montano began training in boxing at an early age. She eventually took up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before becoming an MMA fighter in 2013. Number 5. Juliana Pena. Juliana Nicole Pena is an American professional mixed martial artist who competes in the Bantamweight division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, where she is the former UFC Women's Bantamweight champion. Pena is the first woman to win the Ultimate Fighter. As of November 15, 2022, she is number 4 in UFC Women's pound-for-pound rankings, and as of August 1, 2022, she is number 1 in the UFC Women's Bantamweight rankings. Pena was expected to face Amanda Nunes for the UFC Women's Bantamweight Championship on August 7, 2021 at UFC 265. However, Nunes tested positive for COVID-19 on July 29, 2021. The bout was rescheduled to UFC 269 on December 11, 2021. After a dominant round 1 from Nunes, Pena came back in the second round to win the bout and championship by rear naked choke submission in what is regarded as one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. On February 5, 2022, it was announced that Pena and Nunes would be the coaches for the Ultimate Fighter 30 on ESPN+, which would feature contestants from the heavyweight and women's flyweight divisions. A rematch against Amanda Nunes for the UFC Women's Bantamweight title took place on July 30, 2022 at UFC 277. Pena lost the fight by unanimous decision. Number 6. Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is a Polish former professional mixed martial artist and Muay Thai kickboxer. She has been called the greatest female strawweight mixed martial artist of all time, including by Daniel Cormier, who credited her with putting the weight class on the map. Jędrzejczyk holds several records in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, where she is a former UFC Women's Strawweight Champion, including most successful strawweight title defenses, 5, most consecutive wins at strawweight, 8, and is the first Polish champion and first female European champion. After losing a rematch with Nama Yunus, Jędrzejczyk defeated Tasia Torres before briefly returning to flyweight in an unsuccessful attempt to capture the vacant UFC Women's Flyweight Championship against Valentina Shevchenko in December 2018. Following a strawweight win over Michelle Waterson, Jędrzejczyk faced new strawweight champion Zhang Weili at UFC 248 in March 2020. Jędrzejczyk lost by split decision in what was called the greatest fight in women's MMA history by many pundits. Following a 2-year layoff, Jędrzejczyk retired from mixed martial arts in June 2022 after losing a rematch against Zhang at UFC 275. Number 7. BJ Penn. JD Penn III is an American former professional mixed martial artist and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Penn competed in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, and in K1. Penn was the first American gold medalist of the World Jiu-Jitsu Championship. In mixed martial arts, Penn has competed in the featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, and heavyweight, openweight divisions. A former UFC lightweight champion and UFC welterweight champion, he is the second of 7 fighters in the UFC history to win titles in multiple weight classes. Penn fought to a draw against Kaol Uno in the UFC 41 lightweight tournament. Through his tenures as champion, Penn unofficially unified the UFC lightweight championship against Sean Sherk and broke the all-time lightweight title defense record in 2015. Penn was made the inaugural inductee into the Modern Era wing of the UFC Hall of Fame. Penn announced his candidacy for governor of Hawaii in the 2022 Hawaii gubernatorial election in 2021. During a meeting at the Hawaii State Department of Education, building multiple board members and acting superintendent Keith Hayashi were told by Penn, "You're all gonna be gone when I'm governor." Penn is regarded as one of the best competitors in the UFC's history. However, he has been criticized for continuing to fight past his prime, including an 8-fight winless streak from 2011 to 2019. Number 8. Frank Mir. Francisco Santos Mir III is an American mixed martial artist who most recently competed for Bellator MMA in the heavyweight division. He formerly competed in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, for 16 years, a former 2-time UFC heavyweight champion. He holds the record for the most finishes and the most submission victories in UFC heavyweight history. Mir possessed the longest uninterrupted tenure of any fighter in UFC history, competing for the company from 2001 to 2016. He was the first man to knock out and the first to submit Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira. Number 9. Matt Serra. Matthew John Serra is an American former professional mixed martial artist and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner who competed for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He is the co-star of Dana White, Looking for a Fight, and co-host of the official podcast of the UFC, UFC Unfiltered, alongside Jim Norton. Serra defeated Pete Spratt, Sonny Carter, and Chris Lytle en route to becoming the Ultimate Fighter 4 welterweight tournament winner. He captured the UFC welterweight championship immediately after. Serra also served as the head coach for the Ultimate Fighter 6 reality show opposite Matt Hughes, and he is a member of the UFC Hall of Fame. In grappling, Serra holds a silver medal in the ADCC Submission Wrestling World Championship. Serra began practicing martial arts at an early age, first studying Wing Chun in the 1990s. He began practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Renzo Gracie and obtained black belt rank in May 2000, the first American to do so under Renzo, in addition to competitive bouts with the UFC Hall of Famers Matt Hughes and BJ Penn. Serra's biggest accomplishment in mixed martial arts came at UFC 69. shootout where he defeated Georges St. Pierre in a knockout of the night award-winning performance to capture the UFC welterweight championship. Number 10. Brock Lesnar. Brock Edward Lesnar is an American-Canadian professional wrestler, former mixed martial artist, MMA, amateur wrestler, and professional American football player who holds both American and Canadian citizenship. He is currently signed to the professional wrestling promotion WWE, where in storyline he is a free agent, allowing him to appear on both the Raw and SmackDown brands. Throughout the second half of the 2010s, Lesnar began to receive an increasing amount of criticism for his character and performances. Many reporters thought his Suplex City character jumped the shark and his matches had become formulaic. He was largely criticized due to his absences from television during his time as Universal Champion. It was pointed out that he had the longest World Championship reign since Hulk Hogan, but only defended the title 13 times, all on pay-per-views. With Tim Fioravanti from ESPN commenting that he had removed the top title on Monday Night Raw from circulation. The short length of his matches were also criticized by journalists and fans. Former WWE champion Bob Backlund criticized the fact that Lesnar used mostly suplexes during his matches, saying it gets old to do the same thing over and over and over again. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments down below. And that's all for the day, guys. If you found the video interesting, make sure to hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update from us. Thank you for watching, we'll see you at the next one. Until then, peace.